Hello and welcome to the NFL Update, Week 2. If your team won this week, congratulations. Before I get into anything that happened this week, here are my top 5 offensive and defensive plays of the week. To start off Week 2, the Denver Broncos took on the Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead. Peyton Manning looked awful for a second week in a row. Luckily for him, the Kansas City Chiefs decided to gift wrap the game away, turning the ball over multiple times. Jamal Charles fumbled twice, and probably the most costly fumble was towards the end of the game. Staring overtime in the face, the Chiefs handed off to Jamal, and he decided to fumble. The Broncos recovered the fumble and took it all the way for a touchdown. Peyton Manning threw a pick six for 2 consecutive weeks now. Peyton hasn't looked good week 1 or week 2. Yes, this season has just started, but if Peyton Manning and the Broncos want to continue to win, he needs to step up his game. The New England Patriots headed to Foxborough, defeating the Buffalo Bills 40-32. The most interesting part of the matchup, for me at least, was Rex Ryan versus Bill Belichick. The Buffalo Bills almost made a comeback in the fourth quarter, but a drop pass by Sammy Watkins ended up being an interception for the New England Patriots, which sealed the win for them. Johnny Manziel looked very good in his home opener against the Tennessee Titans, winning 28-14. Scooby's first pass of the game was for a touchdown. Unfortunately, even though he won the game and looked poised in the pocket and looked like a real NFL quarterback, Mike Pettin has decided that this Sunday, Josh McCown will be the starter again. He quote, "Josh McCown gives us the best chance to win." I guess Mike Pettin never watched the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last season. The New York Giants lost for a second week in a row, and again because of poor clock management. Apparently when Eli was a young child, he never learned how to read a clock, or count, or anything. Because of this, the New York Giants lost in the fourth quarter to the Atlanta Falcons. Last week, Jameis Winston had one of the worst starts ever in recent memory by a rookie quarterback. Jameis Winston played very well this week, defeating the New Orleans Saints in the Superdome. Drew Brees is so old. That man belongs in a retirement home, not in the NFL. Drew Brees had his heyday, but he is too old and his arm is just not the same anymore. With that loss at home, that makes the Saints losing 5 consecutive games in the Superdome. That's pretty upsetting. Joe Flacco and the Ravens last week looked slow against the Denver Broncos. This week they were headed to Oakland, which you would assume they would be able to get back on track. The Ravens did look good, offensively of course. The game was a shootout, but surprisingly the Raiders came out with a W. Derek Carr earlier in the game had a nice connection for a long Amari Cooper touchdown. If Cooper can play like the receiver the Raiders are hoping they can, the Michael Crabtree, Amari Cooper, and Derek Carr combination could be deadly. A lot of people write off the Raiders because, well, they're the Raiders, but this team is headed up. And then the most entertaining game for me to watch was the Miami Dolphins losing to the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's right, celebrate Jags fans, you won a game. You probably never seen that in your life, but you've won a game. The Jacksonville Jaguars defeated the Miami Dolphins with a last-second field goal. And the Dolphins fans' population plummeted after half of them jumped off a building when they saw the final score. What a great game. The Dallas Cowboys headed to Philadelphia this week to play the Eagles. Unfortunately, they were missing Dez Bryant. And midway through the game, they also lost star quarterback Tony Romo to a broken collarbone. But Tony Romo is one tough son of a bitch, and he said that he'll be back in 8 weeks. The Dallas Cowboys are going to struggle a little bit. The Dallas Cowboys are going to struggle a little bit without Romo, but hey, they can't be any worse than the Philadelphia Eagles. That high-tempo offense that everyone was looking forward to coming into this season is non-existent. And now, the Philadelphia Eagles are going to have to face the New York Jets in New York this coming Sunday, while that Jets defense has forced 10 turnovers in 2 games. That's not looking good, Eagle fans. And then Sunday Night Football, there's nothing like Sunday football unless you're a Seahawks fan who watched the Packers beat the Seahawks. So the Seahawks are probably the most deadliest team to start 0-2. Cam Chancellor has officially said he will return to the Seahawks, but the return of Cam Chancellor will not help the offense that much. And hey, you guys traded for Jimmy Graham. How about throw it to him? To end week 2, there was Monday Night Football, where the New York Jets headed to Indianapolis to play the Colts. The Colts ended that game losing 20-7. They mainly lost because the Jets defense wreaked havoc all day, causing 5 turnovers and overall discomfort for Andrew Luck. The New York Jets started 2-0, which they have not done in 4 years. With this loss, that makes the Colts now 0-2, which Colts fans shouldn't be that worried because they were 1 game away from the Super Bowl last year. And a lot of people probably forget they started last season 0-2 also, and then won 5 straight. Colt fans are definitely hoping that they can do the same thing again. They probably will, because Andrew Luck is not going to play like this every single week. But that's it for this week. I'm the Jets fan, signing off. Go Jaguars!